I grew up a pastor's kid in Ohio, and that's where I lived the first 5 years of my life. And the church that I attended was one that my mom pastored, and I knew everybody, and I just felt like family. That was where I learned about God, and I decided to give my life to Christ when I was 5. So that was how I started this journey. And then when I was 11, my family moved to Virginia for my dad to study for his PhD. And I was homeschooled there, had a great community, a lot of friends, good church that we were a part of, and continued to grow in my faith. And then when I was 9, my family went to Nicaragua to adopt my sister. And that was really impactful for me. The first time I had been to another country, the first time I heard Spanish being spoken, and just loved everything about that experience. And then when I was 11, my dad got a job back in Texas, where my mom's parents were, so we moved there. And I continued to be homeschooled, but then pretty soon was transitioned into going to public school. And then I just continued to grow in my faith, actually, but I think that there weren't as many people that I felt like were my peers. I felt like I knew more about the Bible than a lot of my friends, and so I started to become very spiritually proud and judgmental of other people. And then I also eventually kind of burnt out in my faith. So I kind of got tired of being a goody-goody Christian by the end of high school, got ready to rebel. But then I went to a Christian camp called Upward Challenge, and there God really got a hold of my life, got my attention in a number of different ways, and I encountered the power of the Holy Spirit, and that really helped to make my faith personal to me. And my relationship with God became more dynamic and more relational. And so I continued to be a Christian in college. I went on to become a small group leader, and I went on a lot of mission trips to Latin America. And then my senior year, I discerned a calling to Guatemala. So I lived there for about 6 months doing an internship with a Christian nonprofit there. And then I did another 2 internships in Nicaragua, serving with 2 other Christian nonprofits. So then after that, I wanted to live in Nicaragua and continue with one of those ministries. So I tried to raise support for a year to move to Nicaragua, but I was not able to get the financial support that I needed. So then I had to change my plans completely and move back to Texas, where my family was, my parents were, and I worked in social work for a year and a half. I worked at a school for 4th and 5th grade students and helped connect them with different resources in the community. Really enjoyed that job, but I failed to practice self-care, and so I burnt out. And also around that time, I was leading a small group at my church that had a lot of pastoral care responsibilities. I was doing that as a volunteer, and I was also preaching a couple times at my mom's church, the church she was pastoring there in Texas. And so all of that kind of came together for me in a time of debriefing and processing through my burnout, but also discerning a call to seminary. So as I prayed about that and discerned with my community, I sensed that God was leading me to Fuller. So I've been here for the past 3 years and really learned a lot, been challenged a lot. Had a great first year. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of friends. And then my second year, I experienced a spiritual wilderness and a lot of doubts and just feeling distant from God. And then I did an internship in Colorado Springs where I was able to kind of start reassembling my faith and rediscovering my passion for ministry. And so now I'm here, and I am on the ordination track with ECO, which is a Presbyterian denomination, and I'm currently looking for a job at a church in the States, hopefully as an associate pastor of some kind. So that is already up to 4.5 minutes, but there you go.